Greetings, Earthlings! I'm Planet Mitch, founder and chief astronomer at planet5d.com, where we bring you some awesome news about DSLR filmmaking and photography and all kinds of awesome stuff. You can also find me at planetmitch.com if you're really curious about some of my other projects that I'm sort of dabbling in. It's time for Simple Sunday Survey number 8. And yes, I'm a bit behind. This is my planetarium. I'm usually been doing these in front of the TV downstairs, but I moved all the gear and now I'm a little bit discombobulated and I'm behind and I've got some other things going on and I apologize about that. Simple Sunday Survey number 7 was all about asking you what the most difficult pain point was in your business. I'm still filtering through some of those answers and I will get that up shortly. But we're going to talk about number 8 today. Before we get to that, just quickly, I want you to remember that we're doing the DSLR Film Noob podcast weekly on Fridays. We've got a new episode coming. I just finished recording episode number 8 with DJ. So watch that on planet5d.com. You can see that out on dslrfilmnoob.com if you want to see it there as well. So, exciting news this past week, right? Was the big release of the Canon 5DS. So what I wanted to know in Simple Survey number 8 was, what do you think? What do you think? Are you going to buy this? So what's the number one answer? Well, if you look at the bars on the chart, you'll see that 30% of you said, I'm waiting for 4K in the 5D Mark IV. So the second part of that question is going to be, are you going to be disappointed if you don't get 4K in the 5D Mark IV? Are you not going to buy it? Are you going to switch to Sony? Well, that's a whole nother topic we'll have to talk about when they announce that. And it could be as early as this summer, or it might be next year. We'll have to wait and see. Second most popular answer, it has nothing to do with video, so I don't care, at 18%. Which is kind of what I think a lot of you really are thinking in your gut when you looked at the 5DS and the 5DR. There's not a whole lot here for filmmakers, and most of the readers that are watching Planet 5D stuff are filmmakers or making videos or whatever. And so it's kind of like, okay. Third most popular answer was, I'm sleeping, this is boring. You got to realize that the 5DS was targeted at a specific kind of photographer. It's not a filmmaking camera, it's not really, it can shoot video, but it's not designed with that in mind. It's architects, people who are doing architectural photography, nature photography, studio photographers. Those kind of guys are the ones that are going to be really excited about the 50 megapixels in the 5DS. I was kind of surprised that 9% of you said that you're going to buy one. So that's cool. I'm very interested to see what you guys produce when you get your hands on it in June. I was a little disappointed in that, the fact that it's not coming out till June, but such is life. That's the way it goes. Some of the other answers here about 50 megapixels, 3% said, I need 50 megapixels, which is interesting. I don't know if that's high or low. I kind of would have expected maybe that's a little higher than I would have thought. Maybe I would have picked 1 or 2%, but interesting to see that 3% of you say you need images that big. And then, of course, we also have 6% who say, I don't need that. And then the last answer down at the bottom was, if the 5D Mark IV has 4K, I'm buying it. When I come up with these, I try to be kind of entertaining. It's kind of, there's multiple answers that could be given, of course. And I didn't show you what percentage of others there are, but we're going to go through some of those. So here are some of the comments. I'm not going to read them all to you, but I found it interesting that quite a few of you have some opinions. Gosh, what a shocker. Global shutter is the first one. I'm not so sure that 5D Mark IV is going to have a global shutter. And I apologize because I didn't fix the typo. Would. W-H-O-U-L-D. Oh well. People are saying that it's an awesome still camera, that they're waiting for the C100 Mark III. Nikon F mount. Come on. Canon making Nikon F mount Really, people? Do you think that's an option? Canon wants to sell you Canon lenses. They're not going to make an F mount. I can see how some people might be disappointed if they just bought the 5D Mark III. Micro Four Thirds has come up a couple of times in other places. One user saying they're going to buy the 5DSR, a Sony guy. The 70D still is an awesome camera. It still does great stuff, especially with the flippy-dippy out screen. I'm happy with my Nikon D800 after switching out of the 5D Mark II. We don't know much about the noise. That's interesting. We're going to have to see how that turns out. And I like this comment. I've decided the S stands for stepchild. You've got to remember that this is not a video camera, right? But he raises a good question. Why does the T6i have Wi-Fi, but the 5DS does not? That's a darn good question, and I'd like to know the answer to that. I think Canon would possibly say that professionals don't want Wi-Fi, but I bet you they probably do. So I'm confused about that as well. Waiting to see if the 5D Mark IV has cool stuff like Cinema D and G or C-Log. It's a highly specialized camera. Yeah, we know that. It's not the jump. Let's not jump off any bridges here. Let's see what the 5D Mark IV has to offer. I love my Canons, but a little off. I don't want to buy a sports camera and a studio camera and a video camera. Well, that's fine. You don't have to, and Canon is targeting this at a specific market. Somebody's looking for a smaller camera, well, then you can go to the Micro Four Thirds or the mirrorless. I'm not looking to buy it, but it has the same dynamic range as 5D Mark III with 50 megapixels. That's cool. Out of my budget, the GH4 is an interesting camera. Too early to tell. We have to see the results. I'm glad to see that because sometimes we get a little overexcited about specs without seeing how well it actually shoots. Would like to have seen built-in Wi-Fi is another comment there. When is enough enough? Question mark. That's true. We barely get the 7D2. And here comes two more cameras that people can't afford. Well, again, if you don't have to buy every new camera that comes on the market. I'm not sure what your intent is here, but you don't have to buy these new things. The 5D Mark II is still doing a heck of a lot of work for a lot of people. So that's pretty much the summary of what you guys wrote in. I certainly appreciate you writing in. My comments are the 5DS is certainly for a specific group of people. It's not meant for filmmakers. And so let's move on. I want to remind you about the Camera Conundrum. It's a product that I have created that will help you, if you don't know much about video cameras, to find out the why behind choosing a particular camera for a particular project. You can see that there are a lot of different cameras out there on the market these days. So I'd like to help you figure out which one is best for your project. So check out the Camera Conundrum at cameraconundrum.com. Thanks again to all the subscribers who responded to Simple Sunday Survey number 8. If you're interested in being one of the people who gives us some comments, go ahead and put in your information in the little box on the right-hand side of the blog that says, hey, sign up for our newsletter. Comes out daily. It gives you all the Planet 5D information. Plus, when you sign up, you get 5 incredible free ebooks. And we really appreciate all of our subscribers. Thanks a lot for watching. Have an awesome day. Get out there and shoot something and keep a positive attitude, as I try to do with all things, including looking at some of the crazy comments that you guys submit. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you next week with Simple Sunday Survey number 9, which will be about something different, because I don't know what it's going to be yet.